and gentlemen, we have some very heartbreaking news for those who value peace around the world.
I'm here.
And that is that 40 million people have been brutally murdered by the leadership of this man standing before us, Genghis Khan.
Prosecution does not stand here alone today. We are standing for 40 million innocent people who have suffered, faced death, and no longer have a voice for themselves. As a jury, your job is to dedicate yourselves toward bringing back.
Contrary to popular belief, Genghis Khan was indeed a civilized ruler during the 13th and 14th centuries. Genghis Khan was a strong and powerful leader whose leadership techniques closely related to emperors like Alexander the Great, Constantine, and Julius Caesar. These leaders themselves did not receive the same extent of harsh ridicule that Genghis Khan had.
Developing advanced tactics to improve their military impact, they managed to conquer more in 25 years than the Romans did in 400 years. By scaring his enemies, Genghis Khan created safer routes for traveling and protected.
You stated that your city wasn't very powerful. So do you agree that your city itself couldn't have stood up to the Mongols?
I believe that that's probably true. It couldn't because, all the other nomadic tribes that lived around it always had their eye on it.
Okay. And what did you hope to accomplish by writing about the Mongols?
I hope people could get an accurate image of the Mongols. Most people misconceptualize that they were religiously tolerant. When they attacked my city of Baghdad, they killed the religious leaders.
Okay. And so how would you summarize their ruling and conquering?
Highly uncivilized.
That was very civilized. So what's your explanation for calling the Mongols uncivilized in comparison to other empires that did the same?
The other empires, they just sheerly killed the leaders and left those. When they attacked my city, they killed 200,000 of civilians. They didn't just kill.
Fallacy is a weakness in an argument. For example, the end justifies the mean. If you look at this paper, you can pass it around. The end justifies the mean. For example, if somebody's driving in their car and they're speeding, it doesn't mean that you have to drive in your car and you're speeding. It doesn't make sense. They said that in India, just because they did it, doesn't mean that the Mongols, what they did is any less severe than they did.
All right.
Thank you, Jessica.
Say uncivilized is like, what is uncivilized to you? What does that mean to you?
There's no point behind their actions.
So you're saying that it's just ruthless, right? All right, well, from one of the libraries in your city, we got a definition for civilized, and it says nothing to do about ruthless, actually, if you'd like to read this.
Here, why don't you have the witness read it out loud for the courtroom?
Read the highlighted.
Well-organized laws and rules about how many people behave with each other.
And
Respectful.
I didn't hear ruthless, but so they did have well-organized laws and rules about how people behave with each other within, because they were actually pretty religious. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
So it said that you sent a letter to Kuya Khan begging for mercy. Now, why would you ask for mercy from a descendant of Genghis Khan when Genghis Khan is on trial?
Well, it's technically his descendant.
But it says Genghis Khan.
Well, we also have dead people on the stand. You know what I mean? Like,
But it says and his descendants.
yeah, it's and his descendant.
Okay.
Just in general.
All right. And then
Go ahead.
Control did the under your control did the Mongols conquer?
Well, I was the ruler of the city of Baghdad, and they took over my entire city.
After they took over, what impact did they leave on your city?
Well, they looted my whole city. They destroyed the mosques, libraries, palaces, any other buildings of importance, and they burned down most of the city.
What impact did they leave on your people?
Well, there weren't really many people left to leave an impact on, since they massacred over 200,000 residents of my city. But fear, that's the impact was.
Fell from power and other belief systems were allowed to rise to power.
How did it affect them?
Well, my question is just, how did this make the Mongols uncivilized that your elitist group fell from power?
Because we worked for what we got, and we went through years of education. I'm 50, okay? spent a large time in my life in the library studying. And then you guys come in, you attack us with your swords and machetes, and you take all of my status and you kick it on the dirt and you
Well,
say,
no.
you go back and then I go up. Therefore, you kicked me out of my position and my status and you didn't take my advice, even though I'm well qualified to give it to you.
All right. You're good. Go sit. Say nothing else.
As a soldier yourself, you would agree that having advanced military tactics is beneficial?
I say advanced, but not barbaric and evil.
Well, okay, so how can you argue that the Mongols were not necessarily barbaric, but they were advanced?
Well, they were advanced because every single one of them had a horse. I mean, they were trained to like be on horses, so that's how they were able to like take over my city easily. And then they used evil tactics like just killing everybody and just using huge drums to scare us all and then sending everyone into panic.
Okay, so do you think if your city was better prepared? I swear.
I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth. So help you. Bentley. Jerry Bentley.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Good.
Okay.
Wonderful.